The Trauma of Septimus Warren Smith. This is the first video of a new series where I analyze and interpret some of fiction's most iconic and interesting characters. Septimus, one of the most important characters in Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway, is a mentally ill British Army veteran who was shell-shocked during World War I. He experiences symptoms of both PTSD and bipolar disorder. Thus, the narrative style used to describe him is extremely erratic and unstable. He hallucinates about Evans, a close friend who died in the war and who supposedly returns from the dead to haunt the living. As Septimus drifts off from reality, Evans is ironically one of the few people that holds Septimus together. Septimus forms a chaotic identity based on his past relationship with Evans, and Evans' return from the dead reminds Septimus that humankind is doomed to suffer for eternity because it is fallen and deeply hypocritical. What is interesting about Septimus is that this awareness accompanies his vision of himself as a messiah and a martyr who actively suffers due to the collective sins of mankind. This is perhaps the result of a self-justifying mental loop, where he has a desire to justify his experiences of suffering. The world around him and fate itself force him to suffer, so Septimus desires an explanation, some fragment of reason and meaning that he can salvage in his suffering. He finds it in exposing the fallen state of the world and society around him, ironically like how the doctors diagnose him as unfit for society. Society in Mrs. Dalloway is not forgiving, especially when it comes to treating Septimus. The instrumental reason embodied by Dr. Bradshaw forces Septimus into the frameworks of the logical, sane society, despite Septimus psychologically and existentially dwelling beyond the system itself. Society only deals with death in abstraction, yet Septimus's entire experience of reality is defined by a wavering between life and death. He has confronted death in its visceral forms, and society fails to integrate him as a result. It is as if Septimus returned from the war and discovered that everything around him has been replaced by distorted, antagonistic versions of the world he once belonged to, just like how Evans returns from the dead.